Hello, everybody. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I hope you all are doing well. Today, we're going to be taking a look at Dead Space Remake 2023 edition. This game had a lot of issues on the PC. So, 3 years later, I want to benchmark the game to see if it has been fixed on the PC, what improvements have been made, if any at all. Just full disclosure, I took a look at this game on my separate system, which comprises of an Intel Core i7 8700K overclocked to 5 gigahertz, an RTX 2080 Super overclocked as well as a 3200 megahertz DDR4 memory, right? I remember the game had severe stuttering issues, like severe stuttering issues, almost as bad as the stuttering protocol, aka the Callisto protocol, when it launched. Yeah, so without further ado, let's take a look at the options, hop in the game where I left off 3 years ago, and see if the game has been fixed. I got this, I believe, a week ago um, on Steam for like $8. That's why it was on sale. If not, I wouldn't have bothered picking this up. One thing I absolutely despise is unoptimized games. That's why I tend to stay clear of Unreal Engine 5 games. It's a blurry mess, and games tend to stutter all over the place and run like shit. This isn't using Unreal Engine, it's using their own in house DICE engine, EA engine. Could be the same engine that powered Battlefield, but anyway, controls, nothing too exciting. All right, gameplay. I do have toggle aim on. As you know, I mentioned in my previous video, I like to hold sprint and toggle aim. So every time, I'm glad that they included this option. So I don't have to hold down the right mouse button to aim. I can just click it once to aim, click out of it once to disengage the aim. Okay, graphics. We're gonna take a look at that. I have dynamic resolution scaling set to off. Variable rate shading, which is an abomination, set that to off. Um, as far as anti-aliasing, you have TAA, which is a blurry mess. I don't understand why these game developers keep including this anti-aliasing. It just blurs everything, the texture, um, text on the screen. Like it's just a blurry mess. I don't understand why they cannot include at the very minimum SMAA, which is far superior and offers about the same performance cost. You get much clearer image at literally little to no cost, or MSAA, which is just far superior to this, and DLSS, FSR, XCSS, and all these millions of fake pixel upscaling AI algorithms out there. Anyway, I digress. We have DLSS, FSR, which is version 2, so I'm going to stay clear from that. So DLSS right now, you have performance, ultra performance, and auto. So there's no DLAA. So you only have the options to quality. As far as my graphical preset, everything is set to ultra. Ambient occlusion, I set it to SSAO. So I don't have the RTAO, ray tracing ambient occlusion set to on. So let's go with that. Video options, it's a 240 hertz display and my maximum resolution of 2560 by 1440. So let's go back, take a look at audio. I have multi-channel set up, which is my 5.1 surround sound audio. I have a surround sound card, Creative Sound Blaster AE Plus, and a 5.1 true analog headset connected to that. So we're going to be utilizing that so I can hear multi-directional footstep and audio. And nothing else, language, nothing interesting there. Accessibility, nothing as well. Toggle aim, hold sprint is an option. Yeah, so that's about it. Without further ado, let's get into the game and see what it's like. And we are back. Okay, so the load time was pretty much instantaneous. Kind of reminds me of the old cartridge days, N64, Super Nintendo days. Anyway, so we're back in Dead Space. This is where I left off 3 years ago with my 2080 Super 8700K machine. As you can see, I'm hovering right now at 83 FPS, but don't let this fool you. I am severely CPU bottlenecked. If you look at the top left corner where the GPU information is, so the first line, you can see I'm hovering at 245 watts. My system, it comprises of a 9900K at 5 gigahertz and a 2080 Ti Seahawk overclocked plus 50 on the core and 1000 on the memory. So my GPU wattage should be at 350, roughly anywhere from 320 to 350. But it looks like I've dropped significantly 80 to 100 watts, indicating that I'm CPU bottlenecked, even though the GPU usage is at 100%. So we're gonna walk around and see what's changed. I remember when I benchmarked this game 3 years ago with my 2080 Super 8700K machine. It actually did a lot better than what I'm seeing here on screen. I'm gonna link that footage so you can compare and contrast. I remember my GPU wattage was much higher, was roughly about the same what I'm seeing here, which is very bizarre. But anyway, so I mean, the frame time is a bit erratic. You can see spikes in the frame time. It's mind-boggling. This game is 3 years old now, and we're still running into performance issues 3 years later. It's like I said, if this game wasn't $8, I wouldn't have even bothered trying to pick it up. Yeah, so the game is kind of blurry and shimmery. Like I'm looking at the if you look at down there if you look at the ground textures back there, you can tell it's a little shimmery. So I don't know what version of DLSS this is using. If I have to guess, version 2, possibly early version of 3. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of Dead Space. I've beaten all the series multiple times, especially the first game that came out in 2008. I had it on the PS3. Um, I remember I beat it when it came out on the PS3, and I beat it a couple of times on the PC. I enjoyed Dead Space 3. I mean Dead Space 2, but I wasn't too fond of Dead Space 3, even though I beat it both single player and co-op. Um, yeah, it's still stuttering. I mean, I don't get it. It even has a shader compilation step. So why it's stuttering, I have no idea. Oh crap! You get out of here. Yeah, I mean, the game still stutters. My GPU wattage is extremely low. It's about 80 to 100 watts, lower than it should be. Um, yeah, look at the stutter. I mean, if I have to be 100% honest, Dead Space 1, the one that came out in 2008, so 15 years before this was remade, on the PC, it does this doesn't look that much better than it, honestly. Um, I mean, yeah, the lighting is improved and the sound is good, but I honestly I think the audio in the 2008 version is better. Um, yeah, overall I'm not impressed. It hitches. Uh, the game is just kind of blurry overall. Look at this. As I turn the mouse around, it just stutters. This is why you never pre-order games, folks. Never ever pre-order games. The state of the gaming industry right now is so terrible. Like it's almost like you need a supercomputer just to run a blurry game. Yeah, look, as I pan my mouse around, the game just stutters. I mean, there's literally nothing going on. It's just stutters. Yeah, what makes no sense is this performance. So the short answer to my intro question, has Dead Space 2023 remake been fixed on the PC? The answer is no, absolutely not. Um, it's a blurry game that stutters all over the place. I'm scared. Yeah, I mean, it's so bizarre. I remember if you watch my last video about Crimson Dragon or Death Stranding 2, I mentioned how, look at this, like in a 2005 game, Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell Chaos 3, when you, or Doom 3 that came out in 2004. I mean, look, you had mirror reflection. Now it's just this. You just have broken mirrors. You need fake ray tracing for technology that has existed since the 90s, right? There's no reflection whatsoever. Look at this. I mean, their only excuse is just to fake a cracked mirror. Like it's just lazy, absolute laziness. It's like you're paying more for a feature that's always been around. You know, you're forced to buy all these expensive. That scared the crap out of me. All right. As I was saying, you're forced to buy all these expensive GPUs, um, you know, for ray tracing or decent performance. When when I got into, look at that stutter. Look, my FPS just went down to 4 frames. Why? Okay, so as I was saying, when I got into PC gaming uh, over 15 years ago, my first system was an Intel Core i5 2500K, overclocked to 4.5 gigahertz, and a GTX 560 Ti. And I remember I could play pretty much any game maxed out at 1080p, including Battlefield 3. You know, no problem. But nowadays, and that was a 1 gigabyte GPU. And you know, back then I had a an 8 gigabyte system. You didn't really need anything more than 8 gigabyte system memory. But it seems like now you need at very minimum, at the very minimum, 16 gigs of memory, and yeah, you need a GPU with lots of VRAM. You know, 8 gigabytes VRAMs don't even cut it anymore. Um, and to compensate for all that, um, we have fake frames and fake pixels, DLSS, FSR, PSSR. I mean, and then frame gen, which is fake frames. All right. In case you're wondering, the reason I'm walking is because this game is quite scary. I remember when I first played it in 2008, I was scared. Uh, on the PS3, this is quite a scary game. But let me walk around and see what's going on. Yeah, it looks like they made a lot of changes. There seem to be less enemies than I remember the 2008 version. Um, this seems to focus more on environmental horror, so audio and like just anticipating an attack, um, the fear of the unknown, basically. Whereas opposed to the original, the 2008 version, um, yeah, you would pretty much get swarmed. Yeah, I mean, it's so funny. Like If anyone told me that this game released in 2008, I would kind of believe them because the graphics don't look that much better than the 2008 original, especially on the PC. It's changed for the better. Um, so yeah, I mean, anyway, take care.